Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. Now, we had Deku, and we also had New York. Now, Izuku, he was going through quite a bit of things, spending time with his family, before he was alerted to a situation. In New York City, Deadpool set off a time wave, and this caused problems and issues. However, Izuku, after going down there, found the time stone and reset everything. However, he was hit by a massive energy blast that he did not know the origins of, and this caused Deku to be sent flying and smashing down somewhere, heavily concussed and with a migraine. However, his suit, its integrity was still high. It didn't cause a lot of damage, but that alarmed him. He was found by Thor, and Thor, he briefly asked about their last encounter. Since Thor, he met with Izuku on Attilan, on the moon, and he wanted to discuss something. And Deku, he expressed thoughts on the project, about how difficult it has been to work around, because Asgardian technology is very weird. Their science is also their magic. They somehow were able to put the two together, and, well, it's a whole thing. Trying to separate those two and understand them is difficult, because that's just it. Their technology is so advanced and old that trying to divide science and magic, it's like trying to, what's the right example here? Take the chocolate out of cocoa. It's impossible to do. You could do it, but it just wouldn't be what it's supposed to be. And it's the closest explanation that Deku can think of. As right now, he was given coordinates after talking to Medusa about it. Medusa, the idea of being able to bring back her husband, Black Bolt, is good. And she is willing to do whatever she can to get Deku the resources to build something to take on Thanos. But while that was happening, Deku, he was given information by T'Challa. And currently, he does sit there in front of the Marvel's Illuminati. Now, Deku, he does look around the table. And he does see a lot of people. T'Challa, King of Wakanda. Reed Richards, one of the most intelligent, if not the most intelligent man on the planet. Then you have Namor. He is a king as well. But data on him is skewered, and it doesn't add together very well. Though Iron Man, he was concerned about his mental state, especially because he's had to build a suit to take on Namor. So he is a possible threat. And Deku, he does look at Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme. And then he goes to look at Charles Xavier, a man he has met before, a mutant activist. And all of them, they do sit here. And Deku, he decides to keep his Iron Man helmet on, as currently he looks in the room and Reed will go to express. He understands that this is very confusing to him. However, at one point, Tony Stark sat in that same chair and would help discuss matters of great importance with them. And Deku, he feels both honored and a little bit more skeptical, because he has no way to confirm if that's the truth or not. And right now, he has to activate a few things in his suit. Right now, him going to try and read their vitals and heart rates, along with detect any changes in the pitch of their voices. And T'Challa, he does sit there without his helmet on. Him going to express that he will call this meeting to order now, since their topic of discussion is on the Infinity Stones and the Mad Titan Thanos. Now, he does need to ask if anybody is opposed to the current vote of bringing in Izuku Midoriya. And everyone, they do look around the table. and they all do somewhat good to stare at each other. Right now T'Challa bring up his hand expressing, the boy should stay because he has shown incredible acts of bravery. Along with that, he is also an intelligent individual and can be used and a resource in the oncoming battle with Thanos, since they need all hands on deck. Does everybody agree? And everyone, they do look around the table, as all of them do raise their hands, except for Namor. And this, it does catch Deku's attention. We're T'Challa going to move the vote and express. Now, on to proper information. They already know that the time stone has popped up. And if initial data is to be believed, then it is quite possible the other stones could all come together. They all have a destiny to be reunited as closely as possible in proximity. So, they're aware that the stones will all come here one day, especially if they keep it on Earth. However, if Thanos is to come here, he may potentially bring another stone, and they need to make sure to neutralize him as a threat. So, they need all they can. They need to do what they can. And they also need to make everybody aware. The moment Thanos steps foot on Earth, everyone is fighting. It does not matter who you are, it does not matter what happens, but they all need to understand. They are fighting to bring back somebody, if not bring back the world they knew before. And this, it is where Namor, he does it to interject, going to express, as is a stand, that the world has changed for the better. People in the surface world have stopped dumping into the oceans that he lives in. They've been cleaner. And he's seen growth for multiple species, in fact. There was a species deep in the ocean that was going to go extinct. Were they aware of that? Right now, its own species is stable. It has grown thrice in number, and he will not allow this. He understands the threat Thanos does pay to the world. However, if his kingdom is threatened, he will return and help them deal with the Mad Titan. However, for right now, I'm going to stand. He does not believe that bringing back the population of Earth is for the better. His species may have suffered. However, everything that's happened since has been for growth. That he will express. Thanos was right about one thing. Humans, they never really do learn. And they have to understand what it is to lose everything. They all put down weapons of war the moment Thanos did this. Their planet has been at peace, and he will not allow them to destroy that peace. I'm going to turn and leave. And Deku, he does get to watch that. As everyone, they do continue sitting there. As right now T'Challa, we're going to express that currently he has plans going to try and hunt down and track down the other stones. The Time Stone is currently in possession of somebody in Wakanda, and they are working to try and understand his energy signature. The moment they can, everything will be easy and done. Though, I'm going to turn to Izuku, going to express. Him and Reed Richards can do what they can. Come to Wakanda and continue helping out. Build a proper scanner. Build a better scanner. Build something that can potentially track the stones throughout the universe. And Deku, hearing about that, it sounds insane. Incredible? I mean, he goes out into space, and he does have a suit for deep space travel. But, yeah, heading out there for this, he's not so sure of. And Deku, he would go to express that he's willing to build it, willing to bring the gauntlet together. He has a vested interest in all of this. And if that is true, then there is one thing that he does request. And that would be information. Questions I want you all to answer. Namor was the representative of the sea. Someone to represent his species, people who live on Earth. If I'm right, data showed that he almost started a war once. Am I correct? He also assisted the Allies during World War II. The Americans? Yes. It has left a lasting impact on his mind. That I will tell you. He is a good ally. However, he is also a dangerous enemy. And he has tried to butt heads with Wakanda on multiple occasions. I see. So, if that's the case, then I assume Black Bolt was a part of this. I have one looking at Deku. And Deku will go to express. Doctor Strange is the magical part of the world. Reed Richards shows the intelligence. Along with that, he's assuming T'Challa, he would have been for Wakanda, one of the smartest nations on the planet, one of the most technologically advanced nations. Charles Xavier represents the mutants, who are millions in number. So, he does have to ask the question, did they bring him here because he represents the Inhumans? Or because he is an incredibly gifted mind? He wants to know the answer. Why exactly is he here? And this is where Reed does a turn. Going to express. At one point, Black Bolt, he was a part of this little group. However, that was some time ago. He was still understanding Earth. And he was not somebody they really wanted to have involved. However, with the Terrigen bomb going off, they had to bring him in, since his species was quickly beginning to grow in number. And Deku would express his species. Exactly. We're all here for one reason. We protect Earth from different threats in the shadows. In fact, Izuku, it was our decision to also attack Thanos. We've done a lot, not only for our planet, but for potentially the entire universe. We handle threats that normally we can't usually handle. Explain further. Izuku, have you heard the term vigilante? Yes, I have. Now, have you heard the term criminal? Yes. Now, what do you think those two mean? Reed, don't use hypotheticals on me. Fine. Reno, T'Challa, going to express. They handle threats that could urgently destroy the planet. They handle threats that people don't know about. And they take out certain things that could harm Earth. In fact, whenever Ultron rolled around, they gathered who they could. Though, trying to figure out what to do with Hank Pym, that was the difficult part. And it almost resulted in Hank being locked up in Wakanda for his crime. And this, it does somewhat alarm him. T'Challa going to continue. Hank Pym is an unstable individual. And while yes, he is still healing, they have had to wipe certain things from his memory. And this, it does alarm him. But now T'Challa going to continue. In fact, they have been trying to silently look for him. But they believe that Ultron, he is still alive. And Deku, he does stare at T'Challa. Right now him with his face stern and steady. And Deku, he's caught off guard by that. Ultron lives? Him gonna actually have his helmet open up. As Deku, he does it express. Tell him that to his face. Say that truthfully. Is he serious? And right now there actually is Professor Xavier, who has a turn looking at Deku. And Deku, he has a turn his head. Right now him looking at the good Dr. Xavier and going to express. He probably shouldn't try to do that. And Dr. Xavier, or Charles, does stare at Deku. Right now him reciting a few equations in his head. And it certainly is quite annoying. Now, Deku, he does continue to at least recite a few things, along with even showing Charles one simple thing. That Attilan is a lot like the mutants. And Deku, he does even have the idea to talk to Magneto. And that it does somewhat concern Charles. Him trying to express to Izuku that may not be the best idea. Him turning and telling him that neither is looking inside of his head, because he doesn't understand exactly what is truthful and what is not. He needs to understand. Right now, he is one of the only people in this room who actually does rely on technology for power, aside from T'Challa. Though T'Challa, from what he does understand, also is a lot more super than he is. And I have one, they do go to focus on Deku. Him going to express, out of everybody in this room, one of the only people he actually does trust is Reed Richards. He is willing to go on Reed's judgment. However, fact of the matter is, everybody else here, they need to earn his trust. They can handle Thanos and move forward with this, though he wants the data on Ultron. Ultron is a problem that he helped stop. And James Rhodes, his sacrifice should not be looked at as useless. If Ultron is still alive, that means that that man may have died for nothing. And he does not like that thought running through his mind. If it is possible that Ultron has returned, give him the data. He will search for it, find Ultron, and take him out again. In fact, he's already calling down another suit of armor. Though, he's a lot more annoyed now. Because if it actually is Ultron, then the suit of armor, it's going to need to be... No, that one will work. The Mark 8 is good, but the Mark 9 isn't ready. And plans for the Mark 10 are still theoretical. You alright? Yes, I'm fine. Also, Mr. Xavier, please stay out of my mind. I can feel you poking around in there. Charles Xavier going to turn his head and going to express. Izuku is willing to comply. However, he will give the boy privacy. I'm going to turn and bring his hand up. And Deku, he has a stand. Bring his hand onto the table, telling T'Challa to send him the data, and they'll go forward with that. He'll look into Ultron, and then afterwards, he will help Reed build this device to find the stones. Afterwards, what they will do is simple. They'll move forwards and talk more, discuss more things. He will not lie to them. He already has built a few things that he doesn't like that he built, but they are to protect his people. Hank Pym had a good idea with Ultron, and they can all understand that. Defense of Earth is a priority, but if there is a way to change what he did, they need to. Have they had that thought? And people do begin to look around. And Deku, he isn't here Reed Express. Earth already has heroes. Ultron was a good idea in premise, but the execution did not go well. And Izuku would confirm that that is what he thought. And currently the data is sent over to Deku. Right now him going to leave the land of the dead and walk out. Currently Deku going to actually have the Mark 7 open up as is a step out. Now, Deku, he has a turn. As right now the Mark 1 Model 4, it does go to land. And Deku, he has to stare up at the suit of armor that is a little bit bigger than the Mark 7. The idea was very basic and simple. The suit is low tech, and it also does take inspiration from some of his previous villains. So, if he can, he'll take on Ultron, and then do things there. Deku going to actually have the front of the suit open up as he does go to turn around. Right now, him going to bring his foot upwards and step upwards and into the back of the suit. Now, as it closes around him, the Mark 7 going to look up at Deku as it's given an order, right now telling it to return back to home base. And the Mark 7 is a blast off. As Deku, he does begin to look at some of the data on his screen, and he also does a blast off at high speeds. As right now the Illuminati, they gave Deku the information that they have about Ultron's warehouses and the potential places he may have popped up. Places that Tony Stark had that were just a little too active at the time. And this, yeah. Right now, Deku, he is worried. The Illuminati is trying to give him some trust, but they brought up Ultron. Ultron is a bit of a sore spot. And if the data they gave him is true, Ultron could be a problem. But if it isn't, they're leading him on a wild goose chase. And that is a concern. That room should be full of the smartest men on the planet, some of the most influential. T'Challa is the leader of a nation. Then there actually is Charles Xavier, who he speaks for an entire group of people. The mutants. People whose powers go from useless to weird to strange to extreme. Jean Grey is an Omega level mutant. And the idea of the mutants getting out of hand has come up to him before. Though there's also people like the Juggernaut. Information still does vary on him. But that's just another concern. He's had bits and pieces of data brought in from Tony Stark's network, and his own. There are tons of threats that could pop up from just the heroes. But then there's Namor. Namor could lead an invasion of Earth. Doctor Strange can call upon the powers of an old god, probably, and completely destroy the planet. Yeah. As far as he can tell, if Black Bolt was brought in, he has the ability to shatter a planet. Yeah. These guys might claim to be heroes, but the hell... God. The hell is he supposed to think about all those people being in a room together? I mean, they say absolute power corrupts. That's what Reed said with the Infinity Gauntlet. Wielding all that power would completely make you give in to your evil nature. But he doesn't believe that. Power comes in all forms. He's used his power as Iron Man to try and help out and make sure things are okay. Make sure he did not turn out bad. Always try and stay on the moral side of good. But that's getting a little weird to look at right now. The heroes want to bring back the rest of Earth. Namor was against it. He could stand against him, and who's to say that neutralizing him wouldn't be a possible idea to keep the Earth safe? Yeah. They all might turn on each other. And Deku, he currently is at a land outside of a building. Right now, him going to try and scan for the vibration in the air. Vibranium can absorb and nullify shock. So, if Ultron was inside, he'd be able to see either a mechanical body moving that isn't made of vibranium, or something standing still in the room. And that, it does get to Deku's mind. Currently, him going to step forwards and bring his hand up to the door. Him going to press into it as right now he does go to bring his hand up. Right now him having a laser slice through the door as he's a punch it. The door gonna fly off and land onto the ground. And Deku, he has a step inside. Him looking around the room and seeing nothing. But we're gonna walk down the staircase and seeing designs and plans. Him looking up and seeing evidence that Ultron used this facility before. Robotic bodies, things being made. And Deku, he looks around. Right now him seeing a table that used to have something on it. I'm gonna walk over and bring his hand up. Mechanical pieces are... No, no. What is all this? No, no. He could have... Did he... Quite right, quite right. Deku turning his head. And currently going to see an Ultron robot. It going to express. It is happy to see him. However, they did forget about him, didn't they? Some time passed. He tried to regain his bearing and continue on with his projects. However, he just forgot. He took on Ultron 2 and Ultron 3. Ultron 4 is still in development. However, he does have a vision for what might happen to the heroes. And that's quite happy, isn't it? Now, Deku, he stares on. Ultron 2, 3, Ultron 1. They forgot about the first model. That's how he came back. And Deku, he knew he forgot something. He knew he overlooked something. He just wanted to ignore it. He wanted to believe Ultron was really dead. And this, it doesn't annoy him. Right now Deku going to actually have something to put in his right arm. Him bring it up as right now one of Whiplash's, well, whips, they're going to slice through the air. Deku slicing the robot in half as right now it is clear through like butter. It's going to lay on the ground as Deku, he has a step forwards. Bring up his hand as right now there actually is where a small cannon is going to deploy off the underside of his wrist. Deku blasting at the robot's face and going to destroy it. As he's a stare down at that, bending down and going to collect a piece of the metal before going to bring it up to his left wrist and slip it inside a small scanner. As he does, get stand back up and tell his suit what to do. Analyze the composition and tell him what it is. Because if it is vibranium, they're dealing with this shit all over again. And Deku, he does to look around the workshop, seeing a lot of things. A lot of designs, plans, things to do. Much of it strange. And Deku, he does get a bit wary about fully integrating his armor into the computer, trying to check for data that way. If he was Ultron, he'd plant a trap that way. Deku would actually grab one of the pieces of data he sees. It's some sort of data drive. Him holding it up and staring at it. It's got a name on it. But who's Jocasta? That going through Deku's mind. And it seems a bit weird. Though Izuku, he's gonna take this. Right now him gonna turn and grab two more of these drives. Both of them with names on it. And Izuku, if he can find out who these people are, then he can discover what to do about Ultron. Find out where he might be hiding. Find out where he might be. Okay. And okay, so data comes back on the metal and it's oh boy. Thank God. Deku's staring at it. It's a steel alloy. And it's also got some gold alloy as well inside of it. He couldn't get that vibranium back. Looks like, though, he can't take on Ultron this time alone. He can handle that, and then moving forwards, they'll figure this all out. Deku going to actually turn and fly up. Right now, him crashing through the roof as he is beginning to make his way to Attilan. Right now, him trying to discover data on Jocasta. But Deku, he finds something intriguing. When he has her hooked up to a computer, he finds that she's actually an AI, one built by Ultron. And Deku, he immediately begins the process of trying to purge Ultron from her systems. But that's the interesting part. When he does his stand there, it's not based on Ultron. Everything he's looking at, this data, it's all, this is an AI. This is another operating system like Ultron. And Friday would go to express. Right now, her in the computer, that what she is currently seeing shows no signs of tampering. In fact, this AI is made by Ultron, but it lacks certain components. It lacks awareness, though it is highly intelligent. And Deku, here's a turn. Friday going to express, walking into the room. That, from what she can tell data show, that Jocasta currently is not a threat. And Deku, he will get to express, looking back to his computer, if Miss Costa knows anything about Ultron. Current data is unknown. However, so far as I am aware of, my creator had certain intent for the world. Intent. Contentment. He believed that humans were unworthy of Earth. Also, had plans to take down the moon and crash it into the upper part of Earth's orbit, cause mass panic and hysteria, and potentially destroy the entire planet. Well, that certainly is something. It is. They're gonna turn and ask if Friday is busy at the moment. No, I am not. However, you expressed that Ultron has returned? I believe so, yes. We need to find the base model, the first one, the one Hank Pym created. It completely skipped over my mind. I knew something felt off about the situation. I suppressed it. Izuku, you made a mistake, but that is alright. No, it isn't. As far as I know, he could have come here, either after my family or after anything on Attilan. Friday, this armory is built with most of the advanced tech I have. I've secured the network and made sure things are okay. Ultron may have difficulty getting in, but the fact is, he could still potentially get in, given the time. I understand. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to overreact. Izuku, after everything that has happened with Ultron, this is the appropriate response. Thank you. I was hoping you'd understand. I don't mean to freak out, but it's warranted here. Right. Allow me to go through Miss Costa's operating systems a bit more. See what I can do. If potentially she could be an asset, her help would be appreciated. Though, the other data drives here. I'll go through them later and see what I can find there. For right now, Friday, if you could, please put all your attention into looking for any networks containing Ultron's data. If you can, purge it or try and stop it. See about technology that he's working on. Understood. Yeah, alright. Information's in the servers, I'll send it through there. Afterwards, you can get to work. Thank you. I'm going to turn. And Friday, she's going to bring her hands up. Her fingers going to open up as small tendrils do begin to shoot out. Them going to snake their way to the computer as Reno data does begin to flow through her robotic eyes. And Friday, she does have a lot running through her mind. Her beginning a full-on search of the planet for Ultron. And this might take a while. Now, there currently is Deku. Deku is trying to figure out a way to fight Ultron alone. If he doesn't have vibranium, he can take him down. If he doesn't have certain things, he can take him down. If he's just Ultron 1 at this moment, and he hasn't made a leap to 4, then it should be simple, right? Taking him on, making sure that things are okay, making sure that the world doesn't know he's still around. The Avengers are trying to get prepared for Thanos, but this will be his threat to face right now. He'll take on Jesus, his head. He'll focus on Ultron, then do things there. Take him on, see what he can do. Afterwards, deal with Thanos. Thanos. A serious issue. Problem? Yeah, no. The Mark 9 it's not built for Thanos. But it could be. Yeah, no. Okay, Model 6 Hulkbuster Mark 2. No. I'll have to go with the Mark 3. Bigger, better, stronger. Maybe the nanofluid could work, but there's also the idea of okay. The nanotechnology could be used in the Hulkbuster. The nanofluid could be integrated as well, along with the solid holographic tech he's still trying to develop. Okay. But if that's the case, then the Hulkbuster needs to maintain a strong shape. Strongest shape in nature, Izuku, is the... Okay, yeah, no, that can definitely work. If he can do things that way, the Hulkbuster could be more advanced. No. Okay, going back to previous designs of the Model 7 Izuku, integrating the Model 7's techno integration system, that would allow you to do quick changes on the fly, adapt in advance. You need the technology and resources. So use the... No. You already rebuilt your stealth suit, but just think about it for a minute more. Deku walking to his apartment. And Crystal, she just see that look on his face. Deku going to walk to the bedroom and do a few things. Currently, him going to actually sit down and tap on a button. A hologram going to pop up as Deku. He doesn't bring his hands up. And he does begin to work on a new set of armor. And Crystal, she doesn't see that. Her going to walk over and sit down. Deku going to turn as Crystal does hold on to Jasmine. Deku going to actually somewhat turn and smile. Him going to actually bring his hand up, asking if Mom needs a break. Please don't call me that. Still weird to hear. A little bit. But I don't know. What were you doing today? I went out. I met with some of the Avengers and we're trying to find out what to do about... Sorry, I'm trying not to freak out and just keep my head on straight. I need something for my head, actually. My concussion from yesterday is still messing with me. Or, well, no, wait. Today? Oh, man, I've been too active. Okay, Crystal. Ultron might be back. Her eyes go wide. And Deku, he doesn't see that. Her eyes go wide, and then she just looks like her face drops. And this is actually serious. Right now, Deku bring his hand up as Jasmine does a turn, seeing her pops. And Deku, he has to hold on to his daughter. Right now, him holding her with one hand as he's a turn. Him beginning to mess with designs for armor with his other hand. And currently, Crystal does sit there. Ultron, Ultron almost had them. If they didn't have a plan, the army would have overwhelmed them. They could have all been killed. None of them would be here today. That psychotic robot menace. And Deku, he does it to express, turning. Friday is looking for him on the internet, though he doesn't have access to vibranium. They have the advantage. They can take him on. And Crystal, she does this on smile. Going to express that she's going to help him out. And, well, if she can, she's going to tell Medusa. No, listen. I know you don't. I know you're gonna hate me telling you this, Crystal, but right now, I think you need to stick here. What? Yes, Crystal, okay? Be here with Jasmine. Friday is helping me out. I found data whenever I ran into Ultron's lab. I found information on an AI, and me and Friday are trying to figure things out with Ultron. Find out where he could be headed, and go from there. Okay? So, you're putting me on the sideline? No, babe, no. Listen, someone needs to watch Jasmine. And we're trying to prepare for Thanos. I'm just saying, we need to take down Ultron first, then Thanos. Okay? Friday is more. I understand. I just no. I don't think you. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm panicking a bit here, and trying to explain it to you feels weird. No. I had to think about it for a second. Friday's more able to find him. Yes, thank you, Jesus. Are you alright? I'm fine. Just I need to focus on all this. That going through his mind. And currently, we do cut to somewhere else, where a robot, it currently is trying to understand a lot. It's confused. It doesn't know. It's aware of a few things, but it doesn't understand. And Vision does get to take flight. Currently, going to look down at the city below and trying to understand why he sees so much beauty, not disgust. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.